Hello, students. A little while ago, I finished making a video series, neither of which video had any sound once I was finished with it. So I'm coming back into these videos and providing some sound for the actual video itself. Alrighty, so this particular one is all about the writing sample. So we have already analyzed the poem The Eagle by Alfred Lord Tennyson. We have gone through the process of putting the information into the graphic organizer. And now I'm just simply going to show you what it is that I did with this as a way of modeling for you the writing process. So I'm going to skip through all of that. All right. So I did a little writing sample that looks like this. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And in the writing sample, you'll see that I did start out with the eagle, the name of the poem and the poet. And then I did end up making multiple paragraphs out of this because I wanted to talk about alliteration, simile, and personification. And I felt like those were better served in separate paragraphs. Alrighty, and I know I'm showing you my editing history here, but I wanted you to kind of see what it looked like prior to my finalizing it. You'll notice that in this paragraph, the use of alliteration in the first line shares, I just jumped right in there. I'm lacking a topic sentence. I didn't realize this as I was drafting, but that's certainly something that I would want to go back and fix. And I'm also lacking commentary. So this paragraph I find to be a very weak paragraph. I did say when coupled with the simile in the last line in which the eagle is compared to a thunderbolt and falls to capture his prey, the alliteration takes on a slightly different meaning. That's an okay sentence. And then I have the sentence here that's just kind of out of nowhere. Thunderbolt can easily be seen as an illusion. I don't know. It just didn't connect. I didn't like this paragraph either. The next one was an okay paragraph. I didn't mind it so much. I was getting into the analysis of personification. But I started it out with in looking further at personification. Why? I don't know, because I hadn't mentioned personification yet. So how am I looking further at something that I've never mentioned before? So I did also take a look at revising this as well. And then the last part that you see on here is the conclusion. And really that was just kind of, it was an okay conclusion. I liked it. A couple of typos in it. I just needed to kind of refine it a little bit. All right, so I'm going to skip forward because I've already said all of that. All right, so I'm going to pause here. All righty, so then this is what I ended up coming up with. In The Eagle, Alfred Lord Tennyson is using a moment in nature. A moment ago it said very basic moment. Well, then I had very basic here also. So right next to each other it was very basic, which I found to be very basic. So I eliminated one of those. See, I almost did it. Not very basic. Is using a moment in nature to show nature's majesty. On the surface, it seems that the eagle in his poem is doing something very basic, hunting. However, the analysis of Tennyson's use of alliteration, simile, and personification bring about a much deeper meaning. I don't love saying that kind of thing in an intro, but you know what? At this point, it gets the job done. So I'm going to leave it there. Okay. Now the next sentence in that paragraph, that very first paragraph, now I've got a topic sentence. And that I'm identifying, I said first that he used alliteration. And now I'm identifying that this paragraph is about the alliteration in the poem. Tennyson uses alliteration not just as a musical effect, which is what we often think of it as, but as something to convey the eagle's persona. In Tennyson's first line, he describes the eagle as clasping the crag with crooked hands. Notice I put clasping in brackets. And I did this because in the actual line itself, it says clasps the crag. And I needed the reader to know that, yes, I'm using the author's exact words, but I needed to change the verb, the tense of the verb, to match my own sentence structure. Okay, the use of alliteration in this line shares the harsh sound of C. Tennyson has clearly selected the sound on purpose. There's nothing wrong with telling the reader that he's done this on purpose. That's called commentary. It wasn't accidental. Stated, it's factual. He chose it on purpose. As he could have used a much softer sound such as the W, he uses later when describing the wrinkled C. Since the eagle is not weak, softer sounds would not work for this creature. The letter C sounds more predatorial. Oh, now I've got the persona thing going on. Next paragraph, when coupled with the simile. Oh, now I know I'm talking about simile. I have a topic sentence here. When coupled with the simile in which he falls like a thunderbolt to capture his prey in the last line, that was a revise of the way I wrote it before. It was the same idea, but I moved it around some, and I like this one much better. The alliteration takes on slightly different meaning in that we realize, I'm going to go back in and change the we. I don't like that, but I'll do that after this video. In that the reader realizes that the eagle is perched far above his prey, high in a tree. Though the eagle is not resting, the reader is given the sense that he is taking in the beauty of the world that he owns as he searches for his next meal. Now I've found that moment where I've come back around to that nature's majesty concept. And I needed to get that alliteration coupled with the simile in order to get there. 2, Tennyson's use of the thunderbolt can easily be seen as an allusion, which is also a kind of comparison, much like a simile, by the way, to the Greek god Zeus, who carries and uses thunderbolts as his weapons. Some people say it's lightning bolts, some people say thunderbolt. There's not a big, huge difference here. An excellent allusion. Zeus is often seen as a ruthless predator. Now we get even more into that particular comparison. Okay, I'm going to see if I can pull this up just a little bit. Okay. All right, in addition to using alliteration and simile, Tennyson also utilizes personification to reinforce his idea of nature being majestic. So I've once again come back around to nature and beauty. One often notes the wrinkled sea that crawls as the most prominent example of personification in the poem. When paired with the thunderbolt, the sea continues building this reference to Greek mythology, with Zeus being more powerful than the wrinkled and crawling Poseidon. Again, I used the brackets because I changed the verb tense. The final line of the poem offers an often overlooked example. I'm sorry, it says first line, not final line. The first line of the poem offers an often overlooked example of personification in the use of he and hands, giving the eagle humanity as it is perched high above its kingdom, looking out over the vast and beautiful miles it controls. Okay. And then I wrap it up. Let's give that a moment to, there we go. In the instant that this king-like eagle falls to capture his prey, the reader is brought back to the reality of the situation, that this eagle is simply surviving. The sense of majesty lingers, though, leaving the reader with the understanding, and there's the thematic statement we wrote, that nature's beauty exists even in the most basic moments. I do hope this helps you write your own essays. Remember, I did choose for my particular purpose to address this in multiple paragraphs. You're more than welcome to focus in on one really strong paragraph. I do highly suggest that you start breaking this down into an intro, at least one really good body paragraph, and a conclusion. I think that will be the best way that you can fulfill the purpose of this writing assignment. All right, good luck. Have fun.